Hello everybody, thanks for coming.
My name is Dirk König, I work for Canoe in Basel.
And we have recently developed an open source project called OpenDolphin, where we have put in all our expertise and we give it away for free. It has a lot of benefits, but for today I would like to focus on only one. And this is using OpenDolphin for multi-channel applications, enterprise multi-channel applications.
You may have encountered this scenario for who's an enterprise developer? Who does enterprise applications in the room?
Almost everybody, thank you. So I'm speaking to the right audience. Most enterprise applications run on the desktop, really. So we are talking about these kinds of applications that people start in the morning when they come to the office, they use it throughout the whole day, and they shut it down in the evening. So it's really crucial. They want to have the best usability experience. They need to be productive. It's typically highly interactive. But then you may have also field engineers or field representatives that go out and need to get some directions. They need to cross off some items from their checklist. It's not highly interactive, but it must be ubiquitous. They want to be on the web or on their mobile device. And that's typical an Android device because it's low cost. As opposed to managers and executives who have an iPhone or an iPad, which is rather more expensive, but they want to have this to show off in meetings and so on. There may be even less interaction in those, but they're typically graphically intensive, and you have all kinds of charts and so on. And there may be even more. And the even more is in the embedded space, which gains more and more popularity in the last year or so. Internet of Things is coming around. And if you entered the conference venue through that door over there, you may have seen the large screens, large displays. And we actually power those, not the specific one, but the ones that we have in Canoe, from very small devices like a Raspberry Pi. And throughout all these devices, we want to have the same programming model. I also encountered this situation that when you suggest to your manager, well, let's have a mobile app for this, and then Android and iOS, and on the web and on the desktop, and maybe even embedded, then the typical configuration is, well, we need a web team, a desktop team, an Android team, an iOS team, an embedded team, and then we need to develop 5 applications, and we need to have 5 teams for that. That is certainly not the kind of situation that you would like to have. So everybody is looking for some way to still exploit these various channels, but not to invest 5 times. I see some people nodding. Okay. Now, we're not talking, for this talk, we're not talking about games and little tools and so on. We're talking about enterprise. What makes an enterprise application? And I like to quote Adam Bean on that. He says, it's an enterprise application if the UI sucks. Yeah, okay. Laughed in the audience. No longer, because it doesn't need to suck. I'll show you a desktop application, an enterprise application. What does it mean, enterprise? Enterprise means, per definition, Java enterprise, the application runs on the server. Right? This is our definition of enterprise. So I'd like to show you an application that runs on the server I'll show you a video. This is an application that we have jointly developed together with Oracle and Nevis. Nevis is the world market leader of container terminal software. This application shows the container yard of Antwerp, which is by size the largest in the world. What you see from top is a 2D view of containers. And now we switch only views, only the visual representation is switched, everything is the exact same, and you get a 3D experience through your application, through your data world. They need to manage stacking these containers, make sure they don't handle them too often. You would like to touch them only when needed. You need to get information when there's like frozen content in there and it's about to melt. And you need to hook it up to the power display, so-called reefers. And you have these trucks and so on, moving parts. Over here is rubber tube entry that can pick up one. And all this information is available on the server. They already have a server-side model. Right? So they want to have these kind of visual capabilities because they sell the software. Right? It is good for selling the software, for marketing. And it's also good for getting a view of whether your data is correct. And yeah, you can see these little things over here. And it's actually also a security or safety concern because this is like 10 meters high almost, or 7, 8 meters high, and there's a person sitting there which has almost no safety facilities. So if they crash together and one falls over, the poor man is probably dead. So this is a simulation of a so-called work plan. They plan which ones to pick and where to carry them around and how to bring it onto the ship. And this is a typical, this is Java FX desktop application, and we developed it solely in 2D until 2 weeks before Java 1. And then Oracle stepped in with some people that have formerly worked for Disney and Pixar, and they have created the 3D one. And it appears that we also have other clients that profit from this 3D representation. So that is as far as you can go with UI technology. And still, important part, the application runs on the server. Right? Of course, there is information that is visualized on the client, but this is only the minimal amount of information that you need on the client. Let's go back. Let's close this one. And go back to presentation. Good. So the tour guide for today, we'd like to show you how to do multiple channel applications with OpenDolphin. But before you can do multiple channels, you have to think about multiple clients. Even if they use the same channel, how do you synchronize the various clients? How do you get information from one to the other? Like presence and notifications and so on. And before you can do multiple clients, you have to think about how do you do single clients. And it appears, and that's the true story of OpenDolphin, if you do the single client correctly, all the rest comes automatically. Well, what's kind of surprising, also to us, but that's the case. So start with single client. So we already said single client for an enterprise application. The application runs on the server, it's server-side application. And if you cleanly separate visualization from logic, it automatically falls into place. So you would like to have the least possible coupling between visualization and code. And here is how we do it. In the typical model view controller scenario, you've seen this before, right? You have your views and you have your controllers, and they're totally separated. They are so far separated that one is on the server and one is on the client. The views on the client, the controllers on the server. The controller says what should be displayed, the what, right? And models this in presentation models. The client gets these presentation models, binds against them, and is responsible for how to display, but not how to change things around. This is totally on the server side. And client and server, OpenDolphin is responsible for synchronization between these model stores, how we call them. Those are presentation models, not domain models, such that they are as if they were immediately updated on both sides. Looks like magic, feels like magic, is no magic. how do we do this? What's the important point here? The important point is that we have the lowest possible coupling between all these components. Even inside the views, right? There is no view knowing any other view in OpenDolphin. Assume you have a list like this and a detailed view like this. The typical naive approach that we have done 1,000 times outside Canoe is, well, when you select one here, you need to know that one, and then you fill in the data, and if this is changes data, like, for example, the name, then you have to update this one by hand and also this one by hand. So you both need to know each other, sometimes indirectly through the controller. So the controllers may need two of them, or you may have a module presenter, then you have a presenter who knows all the views, and that makes it really difficult to evolve your user interface. Add a new one, remove one, change one, without affecting the others. I'd like to show you this application. This is one of the demos that come with OpenDolphin. OpenDolphin is open source on GitHub. It comes with like 25 or so demos that you can start directly from the command line. Let's say click one on balanced. There's a little animation that pops it up. Gross and risky and insane. So this view knows nothing about this view over here. This view over here knows nothing about that view. Let's say that this is not only insane, but this is, now pay attention to this point here, this point here, and this point here. You need three eyes at the same time. Totally insane. While I type automatic update. The information is on the server. It is on the server without us noticing. Now, I click on plus and add one here, and even the plus button knows nothing about the list above it. Nothing. And change me is, of course, we are buying some Canoe shares or so. Click. This view over here, there, the graphical representation, knows nothing about this view, knows nothing about this over here. Right? And of course, it wouldn't be totally insane if we only had 10 Canoe shares, so 100 Canoe shares. Again, right? And down here, you see the total, which is automatically updated all the time. This total that was a client requirement is calculated on the server side. It's kind of hard to believe now, right? It is calculated on the server side because the server is in total knowledge what happens on the client side. It detects that there was a value change. In the models behind this, the presentation models that make up the relevant information, and calculates the total. And since this view is bound against the presentation model attribute over here, they all update automatically. Without any logic on the client side, there is no logic on the client side. If we choose to add another view, we can add it without touching any of the existing ones, neither the logic nor the views. We can remove one without touching the other ones. We can change one without touching the other ones. That's the important part. If you have this piece of code correctly, then all the other multi-client, multi-channel falls in place automatically. Make sense so far? Yeah. Well, let's close that one. And back to the presentation. Yeah, come. Yeah. Wouldn't it start? Yep. Doesn't it start here? Here we go. So how does it work? Let's assume an example where we have like a login screen. Right? What you need to do, you have a controller action that if you give it a name and a password, it has some logic that resides on the client on the server side. Right? It has some logic how to find out whether somebody is okay to log in. Right? This is a login action that you have to write. And you're on the server side, so everything's available to you. This is something that you have to provide. There is no way around it. By the way, between view and controller, this is what I call the sea level. Everything below the sea level does OpenDolphin for you. Everything above is what you as a programmer do. Left client side, right server side. So what we do is we instantiate a presentation model. By the way, that's a generic model. You don't have to write a class for that. There is no special user class or so for the presentation model. There's only one class called presentation model. It has 3 attributes, name, password, and logged in. And as soon as this is available on the client side, it's automatically also available on the server side without you noticing. Now, on the client side, you have to write your view somehow with your view technology that is depending on your UI toolkit that you're developing against. This is UI toolkit specific, right? Very important. But what you can do is you can bind the text field of name against the attribute, the name attribute of OpenDolphin, and the password against the password, and, for example, the visibility property of this dialog against the logged in property of your presentation model automatically. So as soon as the user enters ABC, without doing anything, it is bound against, it's copied against, so to speak, in the name attribute, and this behind the scenes is transferred to the server asynchronously and in a very small packet. So the server is now in total knowledge that there's ABC in this text field. Well, strictly speaking, it doesn't know anything about text fields, it only knows about this one. Whether this is in the text field or some other widget, the server doesn't care. Second, same for the password. Now, users clicking login button, which means the login action, there's a command that the client gives to the server. It runs over to the server, and the server dispatches it to the login action, and the login action now can read from the server side, model store as we call it, the values of the attributes, and it can write to the logged in property. Now, as soon as there's a new value in the logged in property, it gets automatically transferred to the client side. And since the value over here, the visibility property of this view is bound against it, it automatically vanishes. If the user drops out for any reason and the logged in property becomes false, it is visible again. Right? That's the process of how OpenDolphin works. There's no other magic to it. That's all there is. And everything else comes from there. Now, in terms of programmers, most of you are programmers, I guess. So how does it look like in code? Here is a Java client. You can use it in JavaFX, Swing, Eclipse, RCP, SWT, Apache Pivot, you name it. Everything that is Java. And by the way, in JavaScript, it looks almost identical. Same programming. So you create a presentation model, like so. There's a factory method. You give it the information that it needs. And then, how do you bind? There's tons of possible ways of binding. And the binding is specific to your UI technology. Every UI technology is binding a little bit different, so that is specific. And Dolphin comes with implementations for everything that's Swing, everything that understands property change listener, and for JavaScript. This is how you send a command. It couldn't be any easier, by the way. Notice there are no parameters in for sending commands. And that is important to understand because the server is in total knowledge of what has happened on the client. Everything that is relevant to the server, he already knows before this command even comes in. Therefore, we don't need any additional parameters. And it also boils down to the smallest possible packet that we send over the wire. This is almost like a ping. Right? Nothing is faster than a ping over the network. Therefore, this is one of the cool tricks that make remote applications, remote enterprise applications appear as if they were only desktop confined applications. Right? You'll see that later. Now, on the server side, this is all Java. This is then all Java, Java Enterprise, the enterprise developers. You feel right at home. That's Java Enterprise. We do Java Enterprise. Right? It's a Java Enterprise application that you write. You get to the server store, get the current user, ask for the value of the name. That's it. You have a string. Do what you want. And now we change the logged-in property, like so. There's a change value method. For this property, set the value to true. That's all there is. Nothing else. No magic fancy whatsoever. That was single client. Okay, so far? I know there's going to be some questions. We will have time for questions at the end. So that's okay and nice and tidy for a single application. Now, as soon as you have many clients using the same application, you may be in the situation, we are certainly, where you need information about what some other client is doing. Is he logged in at all? Is he working on a certain piece of information that I shouldn't touch now? You'd like to have instant updates. Not only inside the application, as while typing, all the various labels change, they should also change for the other one over there. Right? You may want to share information about logging. Right? You shouldn't touch it because I have it under my control. So we'd like to share that information. How do you do this? Since we are enterprise applications, that's absolutely easy. Right? Next demo. We'll have like what we call Tahoe. I'm actually not sure what the English name for that is. And this only works with the server, so I have to stop my server. This is a standard enterprise Java server. It happens to be Grails, so there is a string and everything below it. And then we start the first client, the shared Tahoe demo, the first client. Look against it, and as soon as it is available, so here's the first one. Let's start a second one. Same application, same client, same code on the server side, but two clients, right? Multiple client scenario. And they share information not via Hazelcast or XMPP or what have you, with an HTTP post. This is Java Enterprise. We fall back to what everybody knows, what goes to every proxy and firewall and what have you. So what we do here is we change the speed. This is like putting down the gas pedal, right? Putting down the gas pedal is the slider. So we change the slider, and the interesting part is, I'm changing it pretty quickly here, and the other one changes as well, as if there was no time delay whatsoever. And now on this side, pick this one, like so. Right? Hold back, don't get overly excited. It's not good for your health. Okay, good. So that is this kind of multi-client. It's one example of multiple clients. Here you go. How does it work? Well, we have seen this picture. We have view and controller separated and bound through the shared presentation model. And now we have a second of those. Second one down below. Now, controllers are on the server side, and on the server side, they can happily share information. And we do this, they run each in its own session, so we wouldn't want to step into multi-threading issues. We do this over the event bus on the server side. Right? They share information over the event bus. And that is very quick, and it's actually non-blocking. It's a non-blocking synchronization at this point. And actually two-way, you have seen that's two-way synchronization. So that's what you can pretty easily do. And you may already see the multi-channel story behind this. So for multiple channels, the story is almost the same as for multiple clients. you have the very same application logic, the same application, not only equivalent, the same. Right? It's identical. It's not even, you don't even have to restart the server for having a new channel, supporting a new channel. But you have different UI technologies. Well, that's what you want to have. And you may think, well, but this kind of, I guess this is, will end up in the least common denominator in the features that I have on the user interface. No, no. If that would be the case, I would not be bold enough to step on stage here. Now, you would like to fully exploit your channels. If your channel supports camera, if it has like motion sensors, if it has 3D capabilities, if it can barcode scanning, if it can scan your receipt for your travel expenses, whatever. You'd like to exploit that. It's important. You would like to exploit a feature that is absolutely very small, like for embedded devices, and very lightweight and cheap. This is all channel fidelity that you'd like to exploit. That is important. Now, how does it look like? You've seen this picture. Now, simply replacing the view, this view here is a desktop view, Swing, JavaFX, Eclipse, RCP, what have you, binds against this model in his specific ways, whereas other channels, mobile channel, web channel, whatever, have their own way of displaying this data. Whether you display the data in a 3D graph, or whether you have it in a simple list, the data is the same. And even control, how you control the data, all your logic, the application logic is the exact same. This is only two instances of the same controller on the right-hand side. That's our approach to it. And we've heard about many technologies today. Cool, really cool stuff. I'm kind of undecided what I try next. Statically typed JavaScript or Dart or TypeScript or any other of those approaches. But the cool thing is, even if you decide for one of those, it only affects this part, like one of the clients. It affects a rather small part. You can file it to the smallest possible part where it is really designed for. It is designed for views. Even if you write JavaScript by hand, you're not landing in this land of complexity because you're only thinking about binding against one special view. Same for mobile and web. Good. So now comes the most important demo for today. Let's see how that works out with the Wi-Fi. Okay. So I'd like to show you an application with a JavaFX desktop view, a web view, an iPhone view, an iPad view, and an Android Nexus view, all working in synchronization. Right? Let's see how that works. So first, the visualization is not overly exciting, but anyway, where are we? That is here. So let's start with the JavaFX view. Let's see how that works. 1, 2, 3. This is JavaFX, and it's the so-called team members application, showing you the team members of our team in India. They have built the application, so they get all the credit. Is that visible from the back, kind of? Yeah, okay. So what you can do is you can select Janak and go to his name. I'll give it a little bit more space. And add something to it, whatever. And then when you click Save, then it is available over there. So let's create, read, update, delete, form-based, master detail view. Okay, right, typical enterprise app. Now, let's go to the web. Right, same application, but in the ULC Kanuka. Let's see whether this is big enough on that screen. Okay. By the way, as you see from the URL, I'm going directly to Basel. This is over the Ethernet, and we will also go over the Wi-Fi over here to Basel, and then all the application logic happens in Basel on our server, and then the information comes back and is displayed here, and you get it. Okay, that's the setup. You already see this has been updated. If I select this here, and I select it and I change it in the web view, Janak, and then change his workload, for example, to 25. He will be pleased that he has not so much to do. And now I'm going to click on Save. And the important part is that you look over here how this updates, right? The JavaFX desktop view, and not only the web view. 1, 2, 3, Save. And it's in both channels automatically updated. Hold back, hold back. No, forget it. Either you do it right or not. Okay, now comes the next part.
I do it on my iPhone, right? And before I show you the application on the screen, I just move over here and get to the application, select Janak, put it in here and say Janak is now some other. 1, 2, 3, save. Jazoon.
Now, how does it look like? That was not normally. It's a little bit more impressive if it works first time. So, but to show you, I couldn't really get it big enough to my iPhone big enough that everybody can see it. But I can use the this here, right? So what you see is actually here's the. Is that visible over there? Okay, you see it mirrored, right? So here's the application. I can click on Janak. No. On Jazoon Mulani, he will be surprised. Pick his name in this field over here and change it with A. Change some other stuff over here. Don't make him a contractor. Click on Save. 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is the save. 1, 2, 3. Boop. What was it? That was not a click, that was a selection. And zip. Okay. There should be more. Actually, did it here? Oh, okay, there comes Jazoon A, right? So this is iPhone. Executive work. Will not be surprised that this also works with an iPad. Now, this iPad is like so. Almost makes sense, huh? And pick Janak. Give Janak. Yeah, I learned something. I have to reload the page. Okay, here is Janak with the A's over there. Almost invisible. So I give him a proper name again. Give it this, Jazoon, and maybe make him like this is now like special widgets for this channel. And click on Save. I try this one again. 1, 2, 3, Save. And it's Jazoon again, right? Update over there. Now, that is web. Now, native Android application on a Nexus. Here we go. Yes, Sven over there? Sven Heikes? Yeah, okay. You see, not only Mac and iPhone and iPad, but also Nexus Android, right? Okay. First time I use this. And to show you the native app. So this is really, here you see this green robot over there, that's the Android one. You have to click on there, then you get the view, can select one over there, and Janak gets, is now Sven, of course. So Sven, and yeah, contractor save, and then it should become Sven at some point. No, it hasn't really. Yeah. Switch to some other network. Okay. So what I have to do is I blame it on Android. No, I actually have to stop the application and start it again. It takes a little bit too long, I'd say, right? You get the point? Next is Android, which is actually, bless you, which is a JavaScript application with all the tools that you probably know, PhoneGap and what have you, to bundle it as a native application for either iOS or Android. I would like to see a native binding for Android, for OpenDolphin, should not be too difficult, and for iOS. Because then, making a new, truly native application is it's not so difficult. I guess even I could do it. I'm not particularly versed in Objective-C or the kind of Java that they do for Android. But I can use the visual composition tool, and I can do the data binding. And that's pretty much all you need then, right? Because all the logic's on the server. Okay. So here you go. No, it hasn't. Okay. So back to the presentation. Oop. Where are we? We are here. So what we have seen is on the iPhone, we even have the Swing client, and you will see our technology at the new JavaFX, and they are hybrids. This is one where there's a Swing application, you will see really, and inside is JavaFX, and in JavaFX is a web view, and in the web view runs JavaScript, and it automatically updates. This is actually one of the fastest ones, surprisingly. And then, of course, we have native web, and we have Android. So you can have kind of this experience of developing once, using it for many clients. But we can even go further. This, for example, down here is a Raspberry Pi. Who's ever worked with a Raspberry Pi? Oh, hey, almost half of you. Great. So you know that. OpenDolphin, the OpenDolphin client, runs on Raspberry Pi, and this one is connected to this display. The display is now mounted in our meeting room floor. So it connects to our corporate calendar and shows you who is in which room for which meeting. This is, we would never have envisioned how helpful that is. Right? So you go to the meeting room floor, and you immediately see not only where your meeting is, but also where there's free time for the next hours or so. Right? Immediately, very helpful. And that's a low-cost device, and it's called by OpenDolphin, and there's a server-side supporting logic for that. So it's actually very small. Not only the footprint is very small, also the code base is very small. For a very long time, it was exactly 1,024 lines of code, and I hesitated for changing any line. And now it's like 1,500. But okay, that's very small. It just happens that OpenDolphin is used in many farming scenarios. There is the award-winning AgroSense project, which helps farmers being very intelligent about how to use their land, which uses OpenDolphin. And this one is a chicken barn in Canada from Stella, and he has various views on the temperature. They have like temperature drops from above 10 to minus 40 or so in one day, and they wouldn't want their chicken to be exposed to that temperature drop. So they have a Raspberry Pi and various views and sensors and actors that are using OpenDolphin. This with JavaFX. So to sum it up, what is OpenDolphin? It's a very small, generic library. It doesn't require you to write new classes and so on it does the communication between views and controllers such that they become as loosely coupled as possible. Not only do they compile on different class paths, you cannot accidentally reach out from a controller into some other view. It's only a shortcut for today. Right? You don't even have the classes around, right? They are not on the class path. But not only are they not on the class path, they are at runtime on a different machine. Right? That's the farthest decoupling that you can get. And the mean for still connecting them is shared presentation model, which is only maintained on the server side and the view binds against it. What makes it so special? It is, if you need now a little bit of argumentation for the management, and here's for the management, it protects your investment. Because UI technologies come and go. I mean, we have like since 10 years, every week there's a discussion, well, customers, well, should we do this with AngularJS, or should we do it with AngularJS, or should we do it Backbone or Spine or whatever? And every month there's a new one. Or should we do this now Java FX 2.0, 8.0, 1.x, or do we rely on Swing, or do we go RCP? Oh, no, that means RCP. Well, and there's new versions all the time. So if you ever need to change your UI technology, it is very helpful if you have confined it to the smallest possible place. Application logic lives on. This is very stable. And you can have this safe in one place, a true investment, whereas everything that goes into UI development is typically process. And okay, if you're lucky, you can bet on a certain UI technology and say, we invest only in this. We build the enterprise application only on that. And we have all our people educated in that technology. Right? Okay, bet. You may be right, and you're lucky. And if you're wrong, you're very unlucky. If you want to hedge your bets, you best separate the view specifics from the application specifics. This is where you can find more information. It's open source, it's on GitHub, dependency on Maven Central, just put it into your Java or Groovy or Scala or what have you code base. And I'm happy to take some questions. Any questions? Yes, please. Oh, question was about how did we implement the event bus? The event bus is really cool. Okay, I'll show you the event bus. I guess possibly the best piece of code that I've written in the last 30 years. Now it hangs. No, can I show you the event bus? It hangs. Sorry. So this is written with a gparse library from Groovy. It is it uses an agent to shield the list of subscribers against concurrent access. Typical agent that maybe people may know from Clojure or so. And all the data gets transferred to the various clients over a data from queue, which is inherently thread safe. So the typical threading model in OpenDolphin is thread confinement. We don't need to synchronize on anything. We are thread confined on the client side and on the server side. But the event bus is sharing information across threads, so this is not thread confined. So that means this is one of the reasons why we are so efficient. Does it answer the question? Yeah. If you go to, you can Google for event bus, like OpenDolphin event bus, you will find directly the file. The file is only 30 lines of code or so 30 lines of real code. And I hope you'll understand it because it's very small and crisp. Thank you so much and enjoy the beer. vielleicht noch an. Oh, ich habe gemutet, ja. Okay. Wie war man eigentlich jetzt? Ich hatte jetzt im Ende gar keine Zeit, ich habe nur nicht gesehen.
Nein, optimal.
Okay, gut.
Ich habe noch 2, 3 Fragen.
Ja, aber es gab nicht so viele Fragen im Publikum, das habe ich gedacht, jetzt kann das nicht passieren.
Perfekt. Merci.
Danke dir. Live gehackt. Irgendjemand hat da rumgespielt. Ah ja, okay. Oh, gut. Das habe ich nicht gesehen, da war ich gerade. Gut. Jetzt, dafür ist mein Rechner jetzt irgendwie eingefroren. So was. Einfach eingefroren, User Interface eingefroren, reagiert nicht mehr.
Wow.
Oh. Keynote wurde unerwartet beendet. Oh, sehr schön.
Auch nicht schlecht.
Region crashed Dispatch Queue.
Wie sieht denn der Homescreen auf der aus?
Ah ja, hier, guck, so sieht er aus.
Ich muss hier alles nutzen, ne, um jederzeit alles zu laden wieder, weil ich so ein extrem hohes brauche. So.
So, jetzt muss ich nämlich mal kurz hier meinen Screenflow ausschalten, sonst